Hello and welcome back to another video. In this video, I wanted to talk about how you can clear your mind. The easiest way to clear your mind is to follow a moral code. How you need to understand how the mind actually works and how it gathers impressions. I read a study day before yesterday about how adults, especially after the age of 26 years old, start to lose cognitive ability and start to lose concentration and the learning ability or the ability to learn a skill. This is mainly because the mind gathers impressions throughout your life. If you gather good impressions, then these good impressions give you a sense of peace and bliss. The memory of these good impressions will give you a sense of peace and bliss. If you gather bad impressions, these bad impressions will haunt you. We usually have a judicial system that makes a person who does who goes against the moral law, uh, we put them in prison, and we think that by snatching their freedom away, we are making them suffer more. In fact, they are internally suffering so much that even if they are out of prison, they will continue to suffer. So the mind gathers all these impressions due to our actions, and the more you follow a moral law, the more your mind becomes clear. I see a lot of people who ignore these moral precepts that are the basis of every tradition. They ignore these moral precepts and expect themselves to reach enlightenment. In this day and age, I say that if you follow these moral precepts, you are already enlightened. If you are able to control your mind when this desire is arising, and you are able to understand that this desire is impermanent, you are already enlightened. In this day and age, you never get bored. Imagine that, like, you can open your phone and be endlessly unconscious of yourself throughout your day, and this is just increasing day by day, and we are going down day by day. And this is because we have access to quench our desires easily. And this quenching of desire has has pros and cons. The cons are obviously those who are impatient to do and achieve their desires are falling for it. They are achieving their desires. And the pros are there are some people who are realizing that these desires are not getting them anywhere. This repetitive cycle that we have all been trapped into is getting them nowhere. It's not bringing them lasting satisfaction or any contentment whatsoever. And they are starting to look for things, and they're starting to look at spirituality. But in looking for spirituality, they are forgetting the most basic precepts, that is yama and niyama. We think that by just by being aware, we can somehow escape yama and niyama. That by accepting the bad or by doing bad deeds, somehow we'll reach enlightenment. But it's not possible. These bad deeds have bad impressions, and you will have to go through these bad impressions to eventually realize yourself. There was a a very highly advanced soul, an enlightened being called Milarepa in the Buddhistic traditions, and he was a person who cursed a whole village. He cursed his own relatives and sent hailstorms to their village and killed 35 people, most of them part of his own family. And this person had to go through a lot to balance his bad karma. He lost his mother and he lost his sister, and he had to suffer enormously in the mountains, live a life of solitude, and be in the worst situations to actually reach enlightenment. We cannot expect this to happen to ourselves too. We cannot expect that we can do bad things and get away with it. We eventually have to deal with it. If you want lasting satisfaction and lasting contentment, the most basic thing that you can do right now is to follow the moral code, is to follow the morality, whichever form that we have been taught. Unless and until our minds have been trained firmly in the basic precepts of morality, we cannot expect our minds to become clear and empty and pure. And only after making our minds pure, by following morality and by balancing our bad karmas through good deeds, or and then again balancing our good deeds through mindfulness and being aware that even the good deeds have their own karmas, we will be able to transcend karma itself. Only then the mind will remain impressionless, and in that impressionless state, in that one glimpse of no mind, that is, no impressions, no sanskaras, in that 1 minute, you will be able to glimpse into the self. And it can happen at any moment. Obviously, it can happen to anybody at any moment. But even that experience won't be lasting unless and until you become completely devoid of impressions. So I always request people to follow the basic rules of morality, and without following the basic rules of morality, your mind will never become pure and calm and empty. That is all we want. Even if you put a sinner or a person who has committed a crime in a prison, he will not escape his own mind. He will go into madness. In fact, you are actually giving him chance to, you are actually aiding that sinner or that criminal to atone for his sins by putting him in prison. In prison, he is actually more free than when he's outside. And if you are putting this criminal to death row and you are killing him, he's in fact even more free. He is free from the body and the mind now. So look at how God loves his sinners and his criminals also. God loves every single one of you, even the sinners. There is a way he has designed this society so that the sinners can also come to him. And everybody has a fair trial in the court of God. Everybody has a fair trial here. There is complete judgment, there is full fairness, and there is complete balance in his in this eternal law that we call karma. And humans are not responsible for giving judgments to others. The nature takes care of itself. The mind takes care of its own laws and its own judgments. So, in this day and age, I will repeat this again and again, and I do this, on my channel because in order to actually get into yoga and get into meditation and get into love of God, the most important thing is morality. Is to follow the precepts that have been given by the Buddha, by Muhammad, by the Christ, by all the saints and the prophets that have come to us again and again to remind us of the most basic things, the most basic laws, to remind us of morality. Thank you for watching this video.